Thank you for being here. 60 of us came from the State Board of Ed meeting just now, speaking to the State Board of Ed members in Morath about what's happening with the state takeover. And a couple of us have come over for this press conference where we're going to summarize some of what we said this morning. I will introduce people as they come up. Tracy Latson will speak first. She's a teacher in Houston ISD and has been an award-winning teacher over many years.
Hello, my name is Tracy Latson. I'm a 28-year veteran teacher, and I want to tell you about the high-quality instructional material that HISD has created and its impact on student outcomes. Every teacher in every course subject is provided with a scripted curriculum. I use the term curriculum loosely because it's not a curriculum. It's a PowerPoint presentation comprising 5 to 10 slides with built-in timers, worksheets, and note cards. While this may be a way for untrained teachers to present information to students, experienced teachers know the value of hands-on, activity-driven lessons for various learning styles and abilities. How does this impact students? Teachers are forced to teach a strict, fast-paced curriculum with no regard to low-performing or special ed students. Engagement strategies are implemented every 4 minutes, regardless of whether the students have internalized or processed the information. Teachers are directed to teach the entire class period. On some campuses, teachers receive directives not to allow children to take restroom breaks. At the end of the PowerPoint presentation, students are given a 10-question quiz. If they pass the quiz, they are sent to the Learning Center, the library, and provided with a packet of worksheets to complete by themselves or with their peers. The students who are not successful on the quiz stay with the teacher. However, the teacher is not allowed to modify the PowerPoint presentation or add supplement information. More of the same engagement strategies are used. Students not on grade level internalize this and feel like they are failures. Campuses are seeing an uptick in students with anxieties, meltdowns, crying, and fighting. Does this sound like high-quality instructional material to you? Reading a script is not teaching. Thank you.
Jessica Campos will speak next. She's a parent in an HISD targeted school.
Hello, my name is Jessica Campos, and I'm a high school dropout. I have a 9th grade education. I have no degree or specialize in any area of expertise, but I am a PTO mom, a Girls on the Run coach, a Girl Scout troop leader, and most importantly, I am a mother of 3 children with disabilities. And today, I am the voice for my community and a mother to all. I am here to provide an update of HISD that Mr. Morath couldn't provide today. Like many in my community, I didn't quite understand what the takeover meant, but I quickly came to realize this was never about helping us. The new education system Mike Miles has forced upon our schools is directly targeted towards our economically disadvantaged Black and brown schools. This is not about providing equity or to better the future of our children. This change is hurting our school community. I receive calls from frustrated mothers, stressed teachers, and exhausted Girl Scout and Girls on the Run students daily. I hear the cries of my people, and I have cried with them. I feel like we need to be saved from the atrocities TEA is inflicting on us. Since June, our A-rated elementary school has lost 22 teachers. The happiness we once felt walking through the halls of our amazing school is no longer present. It feels like a prison for our children. Today, teachers who were once so full of life are living in fear of losing their jobs for speaking about the new education system. Children experience anxiety and stress every day, exhausted from DOL timers and testing in every subject. Parents are kept in the dark and our concerns are ignored. I, once a PTO president at PTO, now am treated as a delinquent for voicing my concerns and for speaking to the media. It's been 3 months and I have yet to have an ARD meeting for my dyslexic child to discuss my child's 504 plan. And it is unclear if she is even receiving her accommodations. Parents have no voice, teachers are demoralized and forced to teach a scripted curriculum. The NES curriculum was created by an artificial intelligence that can't even differentiate what's appropriate for our children. Are our children not good enough to receive curriculum that has been created by experts? When Mike Miles, teachers are literally correcting the curriculum as they go. When Mike Miles said, "We are going to fly a plane and build it too," he wasn't kidding. Libraries have been replaced with team rooms that look and feel like segregation rooms. Learning has become more important than our children's health, and our dual language is not dual language anymore. Will someone please tell Mike Miles what the definition to dual is? With all due respect, Mr. Morath, we the people do not trust your decision to place Mike Miles in control of our district. We needed help, but not like this.
This is a People's Report on the state takeover of HISD brought to you by teachers and parents in Houston. We are Community Voices for Public Education, a multiracial group of parents, students, teachers, and community. We believe deeply in fully and equitably funded schools for all children, including children with disabilities, children who are emerging bilinguals, and children who sleep 4 to a mattress without enough food, Wi-Fi, or nearby grocery stores. We will hear next from an impacted mother at one of the targeted schools, Lauren Simmons. Thank you so much.
I'm here today standing with other parents and educators but I want to be clear, we should not be here. We should not have to have gotten on a bus this morning at 5 a.m. to drive to Austin, Texas to demand that our State Board of Education listen to our concerns. We have lost our rights. We have lost our democratic ability to make decisions about our children's education with the stroke of a pen. Mike Morath has not been accountable to us, will not be accountable to us, and we cannot trust that TEA will do the job that it needs to do because, as we've seen in the past, TEA has taken over districts before, and those districts are no better off, and some of them are no longer even existing. I am angry, I am frustrated because I have 2 amazing children who dread going to school every single day. My 3rd grader, my baby girl, who has a chronic illness and who is also dyslexic, is falling further and further behind in school and feels demoralized because of the curriculum that I don't even want to say designed, but that has been implemented by the uncertified superintendent who is running our school district. He is not an educator, and he doesn't have a passion for teaching. He doesn't have a passion for our children, and it reflects in everything that he does. We deserve better. Our educators deserve better. Our communities deserve better. If the intention was not to dismantle and destroy our district, then I'm unsure what this was supposed to do because it has not benefited any of our children, and that is who is most at risk. I am standing here today, but again, like I said before, we should not be here. We should be at home. We should be at work. We should be enjoying our lives, not having to fight for our right to our democratic ability to make decisions about our children's education. We've done our part. We went and we voted. We elected officials. We attend PTO meetings. We do bake sales. We are doing our part as parents. We deserve better.
First grade teacher will speak next. Her name is Aimee Kirshen.
Yes, hello. I'm a first grade teacher in a largely brown demographic. I teach first grade, and I use singing and dancing in my curriculum to help teach the content to our children. Before the takeover, my children loved my classes. They loved learning, and they loved the environment. After the takeover, we were told we can't sing. We were singing one day. I have a AU student actually in my class, and he loves the singing part. He usually leads in that part. Somebody came in, they said, we can't sing. Why can't we sing? Why don't they like it? A student asked. This has become the new norm. So, moving on, also our curriculum, as others have stated, is not aligned with the TEKS, and it is not good, nor is it rigor for our children. When I started the year, I was told to get rid of the educational games because that is not the curriculum of Eureka and Amplify. Instead, I was directed to follow the slides to a T. And when I went off kilter, I did the slides to modify the lesson so that my kids could understand. I was scored low as a result. Our kids deserve better. We deserve better. And I have always been a distinguished teacher, trying to be an accomplished teacher through the methods that I teach, and I'm told I cannot. They are suppressed by the new education system, that underappreciates my teaching style, my unique way of teaching, even to a special needs child who excels in the mainstream level with my teaching. I'm asking for a democratically elected board so that we can go back to teaching where student performance excels. And I'm asking for the children to be able to return to the love of learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll have two more speakers. Maria Benzon, who's a teacher in HISD, will talk about her experiences, and then State Representative Penny Morales-Shaw.
Hello, I've been an educator for a very long time. I graduated from UT Austin with a Plan 2 degree and wanting to become a teacher. And I loved education. I continued in my career. I got a PhD at U of H in educational psychology, trying to understand how to better motivate our students and our teachers. The way to not do it is what's happening in Houston. The way to not do it is to threaten teachers and to make kids unhappy. The way we help kids is through connection, and that is not happening in schools. When kids are required to stand in lines, carry cones to bathrooms from their classrooms, it's not fair, it's not right. And the reason I know that and that stuff is happening, the scripted curriculum, is because I was a teacher in an NES school. And my daughter doesn't go to an NES school. She loves her classes. She gets to read about novels, different novels. She comes home and she tells me new words that I'm surprised she's learned. And I'm so happy for her. But it is inequitable that we have the haves and the have-nots. And that it's okay to do scripted materials and you have to have it timed and all of the check boxes that have to happen in those schools. And then in these other schools, teachers have a little bit more freedom to teach to kids' interests, to excite children to learn. I live in these two worlds and I see it, and it is sad. It is sad because what is happening in our schools now is going to quickly infiltrate the other schools. And I am very concerned because not only are we going to lose teachers, we're going to lose parents. People will leave HISD for other kinds of schools and Houston. And that's going to affect so much more than our schools. It will affect property taxes. It will affect our communities. And so because of that, I urge you to please look into what's happening in HISD. We go before the school board almost twice a month. And because of that, we try to voice our concerns. We came here today to speak to the school board at the Texas level. And you know what? They didn't really hear us. And it's sad because here we are, community members trying to yell that there is a problem and no one wants to listen. We need you to listen. We need you to tap in and ask a teacher, are you okay? Ask a parent, are you okay? And we need you to speak to other people and let them know we are not okay. We need this unelected board to go away because all they do is rubber stamp. We need a certified superintendent who understands learning, who understands how to run schools, public schools, not charter schools. And we need the community from here to all across the United States to see that what is happening here will be happening in other places. So please join us in stopping what is happening in HISD. Help us. Thank you.
I'm State Representative Penny Morales-Shaw from the Houston area. And first I want to say that I am so grateful to CVPE, to the other fighters that are in this fight, HFT, AFT, and all of the parents, teachers, and advocates for bringing this fight to the state capitol. Because all too often, the public believes and says that what happens over there doesn't affect me. And that's why sometimes people don't vote, they don't get involved in the conversation. But this is a conversation that cannot be ignored. The HISD, the Houston Independent School District takeover, started here. It started in these halls. The governor, the governor's appointed commissioner, Mike Morath, and their appointed takeover chief, Mr. Miles, that all started here. And it is now impacting parents, students, our teachers, our school administrators, and as we're hearing today, this isn't for the better. HISD is one of the largest school districts in the state, and before this takeover was doing exceptionally well. I mean, you all know that firsthand. Over 200 schools in the district and a B+ rating. I mean, that's darn good when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of students from a mixed diversity of backgrounds with many different needs. That was being accomplished. It was a success with all of the different challenges it may have had. HISD was a success. Since the TEA takeover, legislator voices have been ignored. I can tell you that I wrote directly to Mike Morath and to the takeover chief, Mr. Miles, and he did not bother to respond. I know other legislators did the same thing, requested meetings to have conversations about some of the extreme things that we saw happening right away, like hundreds of teachers and administrators just getting fired, getting a pink slip with no prior evaluation, no analysis of what was working, what wasn't, no polls, no surveys, none of the standard things that you would see when there's a responsible shift in responsibility or structure inside of an institution. These are things that we wanted to talk to the takeover chief about or Mike Morath about, and no one was willing to listen. That's why you see and you hear the voices here today, because they're bringing this to the Capitol, and they are not giving up, and I'm just so grateful for that. We're all trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense, and it's not designed to make sense. It's meant to accomplish an agenda, and I think we've figured that out. This isn't meant to take care of our teachers, to take care of our kids, to give our schools the tools that they need, to spend our tax dollars in a responsible, effective way to make sure that we have a workforce in the future that's competent, that we have kids that are excelling and blooming and thinking about their future dreams, securing good teachers, making sure that they have the tools they need, and making sure they're getting paid for their value. None of this is making sense. It's not meant to make sense. This is an agenda designed for a different purpose, and we frankly don't need to figure it out. We know that it's not working. From all the voices you hear today, from the voices you hear back home in Houston, whether it's a parent, whether it's a teacher, whether it's somebody trying to run a school or a district, we don't need to figure out what the design is, what the end goal of this leadership is. We know for a fact that it's not working. I don't have to rehash the details of what's happening in a classroom that sounds more like a prison than a place to learn and grow and bloom. This is the truth, what you're hearing today. And if this isn't compelling, I don't know what is. Again, I applaud all the leaders for being here today, and because kids will interpret this as we are worth it. Teachers will interpret this as we are worth it. Administrators will know that they are worth it because this is an ongoing fight. It hasn't diminished in its volume, and it won't. And it's important to keep the fight up because that's the message we have to send. And mind you, all of this is happening after CRT, critical race theory, where our history is being obliterated and taken out of the school books, and where books are being banned. This is after so many control levers and mechanisms have already been put in place. This is on top of all of that. When this takeover initially happened, I think a lot of us wanted to somehow glean some hope and believe that this was going to be some kind of innovation. There were going to be positive things that came out of it, that things were going to look brighter and better, and we were going to get more tools that perhaps we didn't have before. But I think we've seen from the best evidence that there can be, from parents, from students, from teachers, from administrators, from school staff. I don't mean to miss you because you're important, just as important. We've seen the best evidence, the direct eyewitness, everyday, firsthand account evidence that this isn't working, and this, as much as we wanted to hope that this would be better as promised, that's what the takeover was promising, that we're going to come in and we're going to fix things. We're going to give you the tools that you need. We're going to make things better. It has been quite the opposite. And I want to say that I want to commend you, Ruth, and all of you, because oftentimes, like it feels for us on this House floor right behind us, just like yesterday, we debated a border bill that criminalizes a lot of people, that will capture children in its net and criminalize them, that will do a lot of harm, just like when we're on the floor, and we will be on the floor Friday in a couple of days on the voucher bill. And sometimes it feels like we're yelling in the forest. It really does. But we stand together and we yell together. I just want you to know that. I might be the only legislator up here today, but there are many of us. There are many legislators that were here yesterday that are working hard right now to strategize how to stop the voucher scam on Friday this week. So in closing, I just want to say, let's keep yelling. Let's keep beating the drum. Let's keep showing our kids that they're worth the fight. Let's keep showing our teachers and administrators and school staff that they're worth the fight, that we hear you, the administrators. We know you're working in the red. We know you're working in the dark. And we know that you're not being heard by the leadership. But we're going to keep beating this drum because this tune of what's right and what's just will never grow old. So, again, thank you for being here. I'm glad that I could be here to say a few words. This is real. It's happening to one of the biggest districts in our state. And even though your district might not be involved in this, dominoes fall is all I can say. Dominoes fall. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to wrap up with a summary of why we came today. We brought 60 parents, students, teachers, and community members to the State Board of Ed meeting to speak on public comments given by the Commissioner of Education, Mike Morath. He spoke and left. When the speakers began to speak, the State Board of Ed chair cut off the speakers over and over again, telling them that they did not have the right to speak. So I'm going to say on the record that the State Board of Ed does have jurisdiction over long-range plans, which include special ed, about which so many parents spoke, and they also have jurisdiction over the training of the local school board in Houston ISD, and they also have jurisdiction over local budgets and audits and graduation plans and the instructional materials and everything that happens in the state of Texas, along with the state legislature and the Texas Education Commissioner, who has expanded powers over the last couple of years. So we, right now, feel like we're in a catch-22. We showed up today to speak. The state board chair told us today to file a grievance with our local district. We don't have an accountable board. We have an unelected and unaccountable board, so there's no chance that will work. We were then told by the State Board of Ed chair we could appeal a decision by our local board to the Texas Education Agency if it violated state law. Mike Morath is in charge of the Texas Education Agency, and he is appointed by Governor Abbott, and he appointed Mike Miles to be the superintendent of our school district and decided to take over our school district. So he is invested in Mike Miles, not the Houston community. TEA is not a neutral organization, so what do? That's why we're here today. Thank you for listening.